Welcome to the Kindness Is podcast, where we take a deep dive into the true meaning of kindness. I'm your host, Kaitlin Johnstone, the co-founder of Kind Cotton. Let's dive in. Hey y'all, welcome to another episode of the Kindness Is pod. I am solo today. It's not too often that I do these solo podcasts because you all know that I am very uncomfortable in doing so. And I don't know why that is. I love talking on social media. I love talking on a book club that I do. I love talking to people one-on-one. There is just something about getting on this podcast, pressing record, and having my words out there for the world that I haven't quite gotten the hang of. But this week is really important. It is hands down our busiest time of year, our most important campaign that we do every single year we have coming up. And that's exactly what I want to share with you all this week. So when I first started the podcast, I got a lot of questions about how did you start Kind Cotton? What was the inspiration behind it? Can you tell us more about behind the scenes? Many, many things Kind Cotton related. And I've had so many incredible guests on that I've never really taken the time to chat about that. So I think a lot of you who listen probably know our origin story in that I used to be a kindergarten teacher in the state of Florida. I was noticing a huge lack of access when it came to putting good, inclusive books into the hands of kids. And Kev, my partner and my husband, had always worked in custom apparel. So I came home one day and said, I have this idea. I'm not quite sure if it's going to work out, but I want to make a difference in at least the lives of my students. I want to be able to provide them with more and more books. I can't keep purchasing them all the time and letting them take them home. As much as anyone who has ever been a teacher or loved a teacher who is listening to this episode knows you want to do that. Sometimes you financially can't do that. You do as much as you can. And I thought that this was my way to do that. This was my way to at least make a little bit of an impact on the kids in the school who I was teaching at that time. So we started doing it. We started making clothes with messages that really deeply resonated with us. And over time, we've created more of a community, a space in which people feel like they can chat with us about what's going on in the world. People feel as though they can come to us to ask about action items. People have these incredible in-depth conversations with us and one another about redefining kindness. So about 5 years ago, Kev and I sat down to have one of our weekly meetings that we do every single week. And we started thinking about Black Friday and all of these huge sales that large companies do, small businesses do. And we really wanted to stand apart, to do something different, to shift the thinking of Black Friday into more of an impactful model. We wanted to do something with a large goal that centered the books, that centered giving back to kids and creating something beyond your typical sales. So we sat there for a while, and I believe it was Kev who came up with the phrase, but he was like, what if we just change it to be Give Back Friday? And we make this our largest campaign that we have ever done. And we have a goal of putting, I think at the time, maybe it was 250 books into the hands of kids. That way we can almost fully fund getting one book to every child at a small local elementary school. And I remember looking at him and saying, that's it. That is what this should be about, right? we should be turning away from just consuming, 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 consuming without a purpose and focusing on what it is that we actually do with the proceeds from the items that we sell. So, Give Back Friday is coming up this week and it is bigger than ever. We have so many exciting new releases. As you all know, with every single thing that we have ever put out, there is always an important message behind it, a story behind it. And there are so many beautiful items with this Give Back Friday collection that I can't wait for you all to see them. Items that really embrace self love and kindness and the importance of inclusive education in books and just everything that we have ever found to be a core piece of Kind Cotton is going to be reflected in this Give Back Friday. So, our mission this year is pretty large. Our mission is 2,500 books to kids. And that is because we have shifted and grown from being able to put 30 books into the hands of children every single month to about 1,500 books into the hands of kids every single month, sometimes more. And we need your help because there is no way that we could continue to do what we do without you. So, this launch, this campaign is going to hopefully get us through the winter. The winter is a time that is historically slow for any small business. And in order for us to continue doing the free book fairs that we are hosting, in order for us to continue supplying books to educators through our nominated teacher program, we need Give Back Friday to be amazing. So here's some of the really cool stuff. Along with having this mission of putting the 2,500 books into the hands of kids, we are offering early access for those of you who are subscribers. And if you're listening to this podcast, I would imagine that you are a subscriber of Kind Cotton. If you receive our emails and or our texts, you are going to have early access this Wednesday, November 22nd at 5 p.m. Now, some other really cool things that we are doing are stacking gifts. So you spend $1, you're going to get an awesome keychain from us that is in our kindnesses, love, empathy, compassion, inclusion, justice, kindness design. Spend $50, you get that keychain and a pin set. Spend $100, I believe it is. Don't quote me. I will put it in the show notes. And you will get slippers, the pin set, and the keychain. And then my favorite, spend $200. You're going to get the coolest ugly sweater you have ever seen in your life. It is not ugly. I love it, along with all the other goodies. Now that I've talked about all the fun, exciting, salesy aspect of Give Back Friday, I also want to say to you that thank you is never enough. That telling you all who support Kind Cotton and the work that we are doing is never enough. What I can tell you is that going to these book fairs and being back in person and hearing children cheer for books, kids who just the week prior could not purchase a book at the Scholastic Book Fair and had to wait for our free book fair, say thank you and be on cloud nine over the fact that they got to choose any book that they wanted to take home and keep and see them engaged in reading and excited about their book choices because it was something that they were actually interested in is the gift that I can give you back because we can never in a million years repay you for the support and love that you have shown Kind Cotton throughout the many years that we have been around. So thank you. I know this was not the typical Kindnesses podcast, and we will be back to regular scheduled programming next week with an amazing guest. But I couldn't let this week pass without A, telling you all about this campaign, and B, attempting to explain to you the impact that you truly are making. Thank you all so much for listening to this episode of the Kindness Is podcast. If you love it and it's adding even a little bit of value to your life, we would love, love, love if you could subscribe, rate, and review so we can reach even more people and make this world a little bit more kind.